Hey everyone, before we start, I just want to talk about Jungle Camille's items and roots. And the first item I'd go for is Treaty Force. Usually when you play Baron Camille, you'd go with the Divine Sunder, but for Jungle, Triforce is a much better option. The reason why is because you don't need the sustain that the Sunder gives, and Triforce helps you get a faster clear overall. Then the second item I'd go for is Blade of the Ruined King. This is a really good item, especially if you're ahead. It allows you to snowball the game, giving you faster clear speed, additional damage, attack speed, lifesteal, and a slow. But if you're behind, you could go for the Death's Dance second item, since this gives you better sustain and a little bit of damage. Third item I'd go for is Steel-Plated Meteor. You could go for the Mercury Threads. The reason why is because Meteor has good synergy with Camille's ulti. The moment that you place your ulti, you could combine it with the Meteor, dealing additional damage. But if you're not comfortable using this enchantment, Stasis is another option that you could go for. This grants you more survivability, but take note, if you use your Stasis while your ultimate is active, your ulti will automatically cancel out and the opponents would be able to move freely. Then the next item I'd go for is Guardian Angel. This would give you a second life. Usually if you're the initiator, there's a high chance that you will get bursted down, and this is the perfect item so that you would have a second life in the team fights. Last item is a flex. You could go for the Stark's Gauge. This gives you damage and a shield, but if they have Serpent's Fang, you could go for the Amaranth Wind Guard, which gives you extra survivability, or if they have a lot of AP, you could even go for the Force of Nature, or if they are AD heavy, you could even go for the Randuin. So it's up to you on what last item that you want to get. Going to the runes, the first rune I'd go for is Conqueror. Camille can stack this pretty easily, and it synergizes well with her kit, granting more lifesteal when your first skill hits, as well as additional damage. Second rune I'd go for is Triumph. If the opponent's HP is low, and Camille is a burst champion, this would allow you to burst the target even faster and help get your HP back. An alternative rune for this would be Hunter Vampirism. If you would want to focus on the sustain and lengthy team fights, this could be another rune that you could go for. But usually I'd go for the Triumph since we are more of a burst build. Then the third rune that you could go for is Nullifying Orb. This grants you an extra shield if you're low in HP, but if they have Serpent's Fang, you could even go for the Bone Plating so that it would reduce the burst that opponents can give. Another alternative rune that you could go for is Ultimate Shield. This is another rune that you could go for. Once you engage with your ultimate, you would have additional shield with this rune. But overall, Nullifying Orb is generalized, so I'd usually go for this one. Then the last rune I'd go for is Transcendence. CDR synergizes well with Camille's kit. Since her damage mostly relies on her basic skills, Transcendence is the perfect rune for her. An alternative rune that you could go for is Pathfinder. This would make your ganks a bit faster, especially with the extra MS that you could get. Or you could even go for the Mastermind. You'd only go for this if you know that you could win the early game so that you could get your items faster. But generally, I'd go with the Transcendence. Really good scaling and has good synergy with Camille's kit. So that is it for Camille's items and runes, and I will see you guys in game. Going into the game, I'm going to be showing you how to play Jungle Camille as well as use her to her maximum potential. In this matchup, we're currently up against Rengar, and in a Camille versus Rengar, this should be favorable for the Rengar, especially when it comes to the early game due to him having a faster clear as well as stronger dueling potential than us. But once it comes to the mid game, it should be quite even, especially if we're same on gold. And when it gets to the late game, this should favor us since we have better scaling potential than Rengar. The clear that I'm doing is a red side clear, where I start from my Krugs, Red Raptors, and Flex, depending on what would happen around the map. But usually after finishing the Raptors, I'd go for a full clear so that I would get my level 5 as soon as possible. It's very important for Camille to get her ulti as soon as possible, especially in the jungle, because this grants access to your ultimate. Your ultimate is one of the strongest ganking abilities in the game, and it's something that you should always use when available. That's why it's crucial for Camille to also get kills early game so that you would be able to complete your Triforce before the first objective. Unfortunately, Jungle Camille's initial clear is one of the slowest in the game, but once you're able to complete your Triforce, it would get a lot faster, especially if you're also able to complete your Blade of the Ruined King. When clearing with Jungle Camille, there's not much that you could do. All you have to do is use an auto attack before first skill. That way you'd get an auto attack animation cancel and you'd clear the jungle camps faster. It's also better to use this combo when engaging on the opponents as well. After clearing the Raptors, I go straight for the top scut so that I would be able to secure this before the Rengar is able to arrive. Because if I went for a full clear before securing the Scuttle, chances are the Rengar would have gotten double Scut and I would be out-leveled by the opposing jungler. Once we get the Scuttler safely, we go back to our blue and go for a full clear. With Jungle Camille's third skill not proccing attack speed when hitting the jungle monsters, it also affects her clear speed. The only thing that's on my mind is to clear my jungle while looking at the minimap for any possible lane that I could go for. Now that I'm level 4, there's only 2 lanes that I could go, and that would be the top or the mid. Bot lane is quite far and I wouldn't be able to reach there on time unless the opponents are pushing the lane. But looking at the state of the lanes, our bot lane has the advantage. They got a 1-for-1 trade, which is good enough. The most important thing is that there's not much bad things that happen in the early game before I get my ultimate. Unfortunately, bot lane gets ganked. Rengar clears pretty fast as compared to Camille. He's already level 5 and he's already able to make an impact in the map. Once I get my level 5, I see that Yone is pushed and Renekton has the advantage. So I immediately go and cover the Renekton. We would be able to burst the Yone pretty easily. Rengar shows up, already gotten his first item, and a 2v2 happens. I go for the Yone because he's only level 4 and he's much squishier than the Rengar. We easily take him down, put a slow onto the Rengar. Nice stun by the Renekton. We're able to get a trade. Almost there. Yes, we got the last hit and we exit the lane. Really good early game. Very crucial because if we lost the 2v2 and Rengar was able to get a double kill, then it would have been really hard for us. We can't get behind when playing Jungle Camille because it's gonna be hard for us to catch up due to our slow jungle clear. So very crucial first gank, and this gives us a huge boost, and most probably we would be able to complete the Triforce in the first objective. Bot lane is still doing well. They're able to get some plates and another solo kill there. We take the red buff, and while our ultimate is still on cooldown, we go and clear our jungle camps. As you can see, I have some components of the Triforce and this makes my clear a lot faster. With my ultimate being up in 5 seconds, I check on what lane I could go for, or I could even just go for a full clear so that I would be able to complete my Triforce before the first objective. I'd also want to save my ultimate for the objective just in case, so that if I'm able to catch someone when the objective spawns, we would easily be able to secure the objective. Usually I'd go for the Rift Herald, especially when I'm behind so that I could get my items, but since I'm able to complete my Triforce, I could go and contest the Dragon. With top lane having an advantage, Renekton did really well also in the early game, helping us get a lead. Corki is able to get his package, but what's good about Jungle Camille is that we could trap the Corki and his package would not be as effective. With the Dragon spawning, I'm quite confident that we could start this. Corki is still out of position, Renekton is coming to help, and seeing that the position of their jungler, they're just going for a trade. Securing Dragon would be huge because we wouldn't worry for a 3 Dragon lead by the opponents. Rengar is trying to force getting the objective. He's able to secure it. We trap the Zed instead. We poke him a bit. The Ahri is able to take down the Rengar, and even though they're able to take the Rift Herald, it should be fine because their jungler is down. They wouldn't be able to spawn it. And I immediately go topside because we would want to punish the Yone as much as possible. Camille actually counters Yone since Yone would not be able to use his third skill well because my ultimate prevents him rather from going back. Looking at their lineup, Camille is actually a very good pick because not only do we counter Yone, we can also prevent Zed from escaping onto his shadows when we use our ultimate, and we also can prevent Rakan from escaping by the use of his third skill. So we prevent a lot of mobility in the enemy team. We also prevent Corki's package. That's why Camille is such a good pick in this lineup. They're able to take mid tower due to having the Rift Herald, but it's okay. We're able to get the first tower topside, which is big. We mitigate the plates taken, and overall, we should be still ahead in the game. The reason why I'm ganking top over and over again is because Renekton is quite easy to gank for, and we don't want their Yone to become strong, since Yone is very annoying to fight against when it comes to the late game. We punish him again, and what's good about Camille right now is, even though your third skill doesn't hit, if you're able to auto-attack the opponent in 2 seconds, I think, then you'd still get the additional attack speed. After clearing the Gromp, we go back, buy our item. Usually, I'd go for the Blade of the Ruined King, and especially in this situation, this is good because we're ahead. But if we're behind or we're like on a 0-2 score, I would go for the Dead Stance because it's quite hard for me to deal damage when I'm lacking gold. It's better to become more of a tank for your team rather than forcing yourself to go for a DPS when you're not ahead in the game. As you could see, my clear is quite fast. It's already smooth as well. Just using my auto first. This is quite clean. I'm able to use my skills efficiently. And after clearing the Krugs, I look for another lane to gank. Bot lane is quite low. Bot lane has priority as well. I look for someone to ultimate. We go for the Rakan. Look, he can't escape. Even with his third skill, he has no choice but to use his ultimate. My team is able to follow up. We take down the support. We're able to take down the tower bot as well. Corki tries to defend, but he's not able to do much. We push the lane, and this should give us mid priority since we see Zed at the bot side. Fortunately, top gets ganked, but that's good on the opponents because they see that we're all in the bot side, so that should be a free gank top. That would also help their Yone get ahead and give their Rengar some stacks. With Blade of the Ruined King online, this would amp my damage and make my clear even faster. So I have no more problems when it comes to jungle clearing, and my damage is really strong. I could just pick off targets by myself at this stage, and I could also take objective pretty fast. What I'm doing right now is just taking the blue buff and possibly the Gronk before doing anything else in the map. Once my ulti is online, I could go for a gank or go for a side lane pickoff. I don't need Renekton anymore if I would want to go for a pickoff. So there are two things that I could go for, either Comet or Stasis. In this game, I prefer the Stasis because I have a kill streak and I'm pretty strong. They also have a Zed in the game, so I could use the Stasis to counter his ultimate. Camille's pick potential is really strong. We just bursted down Rakan. I tried to take down the mid tower. We burst down the Rengar, put him pretty low, flash out for safety since there's a package. I think Kai'Sa played a bit aggressive, but it's okay. It's a 2-for-2 exchange overall, and with the dragon up, their jungler is down. This should be a free dragon for us. We look for someone to catch, hit him with the Q2, poke Zed again, and look at the damage that I'm dealing. Put him in 1 HP, hopefully Renekton Ignite takes him down, yes it does, and that's another good advantage for us. Yon is playing a bit greedy. I'm there to help. Take him down with my second skill. Put the Rakan pretty low. I wanted to take the lantern, but I thought Thresh went in, but he was just in place. It's okay. The most important thing is that we're able to take the dragon, and due to us getting the first dragon, this should be an easy second dragon and should enable us to get a 3 dragon objective. You smite to secure it. You ultimate the Corki so you wouldn't be able to escape. I actually misclicked. I was supposed to use the second skill instead of the third skill, but I clicked the third skill. But in the end, since we have a lot of damage and we're massively ahead of the opponents, we're easily able to burst down the Corki. With the objective down and my ulti still on cooldown, we go back to our own camps again. Clear the Krugs. Clear the red. Buff sharing to the Kai'Sa. Clear the top side since we're not in a hurry. With the objective spawning in 40 seconds, I think that's Baron. This could possibly be a Baron take, depending on what happens around the map. With having 3k gold, I was thinking about going for the Stasis, but I went for the Death Stance instead because, of course, a full item is much better than just getting a stasis component. We're snowballing the game and this would increase our burst even further. 20 seconds, we could go for a top lane gank. I see that Corki is out of position. I just want to take the blue before doing anything else. My teammates are waiting for the opponents to face check. I look to see if I could catch anyone. I have my ultimate just in case. And Camille has a lot of combos. You could go for a third, second, third. Or you could go for a auto first, auto second. There's a lot of combos that Camille can do. It's just more about the familiarity of the champions. Seeing 3 members bot, this should be a free Baron for us, with the Baron becoming very squishy in the recent patch. We have no problems taking this objective. Once we go for the smite, we ultimate the Corki because Rakan is quite easy to kill. And look at the burst that we're dealing right now. Removing the Corki from the game, we also took down the Rakan and we go for the mid lane push. My teammates are still playing very, very aggressive. They're able to take down the Yone as well. And this should be a free mid inhibitor for us. With 2 members left, I could go for an end, but since the Nexus has a shield, it would be hard for us to just end the game right there. So what we do, we go back. Fresh gets a hook. Rengar has to flash. That's good for us. Zed uses his own ulti. Kai'Sa has to flash. It should be okay. Rengar still has his ultimate up. Kai'Sa baits the Rengar. Since he has no more flash from earlier, we would be able to burst him down with the Q2. With our ultimate going up, we take down the Corki. We have our third skill for a gap close. We burst down the Rakan. Slow the Zed. Our third skill is up again. We get a 2-man stun. Take down the Zed. Yone is the one left. And we have our third skill just in case Yone goes back. And with that, that would be an ace. We get the quadra kill. Unfortunately, it could have been a penta if we were able to take down the Zed. But overall, it should be okay. And see how strong Jungle Camille is, especially once we have our items. We're able to burst down a lot of targets. We have a lot of mobility. And the opponents just can't escape easily. 100% Camille at Grandmaster. Pretty flawless game. We get MVP. Our team did well, especially the Renekton. 11-0-6. 16k damage dealt as well as 9.2 damage taken. We did a lot. We carried the game. And that is how you could abuse Jungle Camille, especially when it's good against their lineup. That is it for our Jungle Camille. I hope you guys enjoyed. And thanks for watching. Peace out. Ciao, ciao.
I'm finally facing it all, fearless.